All right, parents, thank you so much for taking the time out to attend yet another PGA PTA meeting. We have, of course, persons that are physically here. So welcome to the persons that took the time out to physically come. And I'd like to say a special welcome also to the persons who are online. Note that we're able to see your questions or any comments that you may have. So if you have questions or comments, feel free to post them in the chat and we'll respond. All right, so I'd like to officially call the meeting to order. It is 5:46 p.m. And as we normally do, we're just going to open in prayer really quickly and then get into the meeting's agenda. It won't be a long meeting today, but there's some pertinent information that I know Mrs. Cridland wants you as parents to know, and also regards to the PTA executive, we also have some information that we'll be sharing with you, the parents, as well. All right, so let us pray. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, we just like to thank you for waking us up and keeping us safe throughout the day. We pray that those persons who are on their way to the meeting, oh God, that you'll just cover them and allow them to get here safely. For those persons who are online, oh God, we just ask that you just continue to bless them. If they're watching, I hope that they're not distracted from anything else like driving. Hope that they'll just listen and not necessarily watch. Father God, as we come before, I just pray that this meeting will be fruitful, oh God, as we put you first, as we discuss matters concerning our children, oh God, and the advancement of the school. I pray that we will be of one accord, oh God, and that this meeting will be a success and all the initiatives will be a success, oh God. In your Son's holy name, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. All right. So, welcome to everyone again. Today is indeed a special meeting. I'd like to say that the YouTube channel that we are on today is actually PGA's YouTube channel. For the first time, we're using our own. Normally, we would utilize the church's YouTube channel, but for the first time, we have sought to get a channel of our own. It's indeed a proud moment. If anybody should ever miss a PTA meeting, the meetings will be stored on the channel. Persons can go back and listen just in case you missed anything that you deem to have been important. Of course, the YouTube channel will be able to be used for other things. So for example, if there is a lesson that a teacher wants to post, it can go on the YouTube channel. One of the good things that came out of COVID, I would want to say, is that we are able to utilize technology a little bit more. We're able to pivot a little bit more. No longer are we held by the shackles of having to physically be somewhere in order to get the information. So I just like to thank the church for always being there. We're in the church right now, for always supporting the school and allowing us to use the facilities. I'd also like to thank the PTA executive who continue to work tirelessly to ensure that we're advancing matters concerning our children and concerning our school. For I think most persons may know me by now, but for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kelvin Carr. I am your sitting president for the PTA, I think for 22-23. I know that most of my executives are online today. The facilities allow for this, so I'm very happy. So big shout out to the executive. Of course, we have your principal always ready to step up and step in, Mrs. Amy Cridland, who is here with us this evening as well to give her address to the parents at the start of the new semester. All right, as I said, this meeting won't be a long one. So, Mrs. Cridland, I will give you first go. Sissy? I'll give you first go to address, and then I will take you through the agenda for the PTA. So I have a couple of things, but I'd like to turn over to Mrs. Cridland So, Mrs. Cridland.
Good evening, everyone. Those online and those who are present with us, not hearing. What is this one? Oh. Good evening, everyone. All right, just want to welcome you, extend a warm welcome to you as well to this another PTA meeting. I also want to thank you for your support. We had just finished our career day. It was a success. Children were beautifully dressed and they had a lovely time yesterday. Thank you also for attending church service. The participation was good. I heard there were many online. And so again, I want to thank you. And also for the parent consultation report day, the turnout was good. And just to let you know, for those parents who did not come in, that your child was marked absent for the day. So you didn't come in to pick up the child's report, the child was absent for the day. We had those feedback forms. We read them. We are trying our best to respond to all that was there. But I'll just have to let you know that some of them can't be addressed now because of a space problem that we are facing. So there are some items in the feedback forms that can't be addressed right now. So we are praying and trusting that the extension that we are planning for will come off by or for the new school year in September. Just want to point out just a few things. The school rule is one such item I want to address. I know when I was going to school, they always said that rules were made to be broken. And I think that is what is happening probably through children's mind now, that the rules are set, but they must be broken. But parents and students have to understand that when the rules are broken, there are consequences. So please bear that in mind. Rules that are broken, there will be consequences. As adults too, we need to teach our children that when rules are set, they are to abide by them. Parents do that and the children will follow. Now I'm having a problem with picking up of students after dismissal. I have been begging and begging and begging, and so I was forced to put something else in place. It wasn't my wish, but I was forced. The handbook, I think all parents had a handbook, and I'm reading from page 10 that speaks to dismissal. It says that school ends at 2 p.m. for kindergarten, 2:15 for grades 1 and 2, and 2:30 for grades 3 to 6. All students are to be picked up within half an hour after their dismissal time. The administration will be forced to take drastic action against parents, guardians who are constantly late in picking up their children. They are even I'm here to all up to 5:30 when I call parents, parents are gonna, I didn't know my child didn't pick up. No, I don't think some parents are responsible enough. Because if school ends at 2:30, no way should a child be here till after 5. And so that was what drove the administration to place a pickup charge for late pickup. Somebody has to supervise the children, because sooner or later I will be hearing that you'll be talking to your lawyers. And I don't want to be the subject of your talk with your lawyers. And so the 500 per evening per late pickup after the half an hour was instituted this term. And as of next week, because what we are realizing that the children are still not being picked up on time, and the drivers stay around the back and call them and they run out. So as of next week, the invoices will be going with them. So when they come and they call them, they will collect the invoices and they will take them home. Tomorrow is First Friday. And just to clear up some misunderstanding, that what has happened is that as a primary school, we need to plan the curriculum that is to be taught. And so when I started a couple of years ago, we didn't have COVID, and so we had taken 3 evenings per month, 2 for planning session and 1 for staff meeting. The problem since COVID is that parents are not picking up the same problem. So if I end school at 1:30 to start my meeting at 2 or 3 o'clock, children are still here. They need supervision. And so that has sent us to make that decision to take 1 day out of the month, which is the First Friday. Now, if I have parents participating and cooperating with the pickup time, by next school year, we can go back to just 3 evenings per month for our sessions, 2 for curriculum development and 1 for staff meeting. So just to clear up the First Fridays. And for the rest of the year, I think we only have 2 more. I've been trying to make them less. And so we only have 1 in April and another 1 in June. So we are trying to cut down on those. Okay, for next week, not next week, sorry, 16th, going back to the calendar of events. We are in February, we have midterm exam coming up, 13 to the 15th. We have PEP devotion on the 15th and the PEP exam on the 16th. Now for the 16th also, the other grades except grade 6 will be going on field trips. So each class will go, or each grade will go on their field trip. And the trip will take them to places in the curriculum, for places that are being studied in the curriculum. So that will give each grade a different place to go, because they are not all studying the same curriculum. On that day, please note that the children will wear their school uniform, no PE top or jeans, school uniform, full school uniform. Kinders, uniform with crest, whether boy or girl. Grades 1 to 3, uniform with tie and crest, and upper school with ties alone. Correct school shoes and socks. So that's for the 16th. On the 17th, the sports committee has planned a fundraiser to raise funds for Sports Day. Now, on your calendar, you have the 17th for Jamaica Day. Now, the government of Jamaica has instituted Jamaica Day to be on the last Friday of February. Now, the last Friday was midterm. Nothing was sent to us from the ministry, so we had planned for the 17th. However, since January, I think 18, we got news from the ministry that they have changed the date. Since the 24th, that would be the last Friday, we would be on midterm. They have changed that now to March 3. So Jamaica Day will now be on March 3. Please note that that's an early dismissal day as well for our staff meeting. So the children will come, but we will dismiss early. You will hear the plans for Jamaica Day by next week. So we're having our staff meeting and our full planning tomorrow. So after that, you will get words on the Jamaica Day event. So that's the only change for February right now. And I think for March, nothing will change there. Now, just one more thing before I take my seat. We had started a block drive to raise funds for the building that we want to do. There are still some block drive outstanding. If you have booklets, please come in and see us about them, because we want to relaunch the block drive to do our building. If I don't have any space, bear in mind from now that for September, I won't be taking any 3-year-old students because I will not have the space. And I will only have to take one grade 1. So we need a space if I'm to take enough students for September. All right, so help us to raise whatever funds we can so that we can get that building going up. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Cridlan, for the updates. All right, so, all right, I said that we have more than we have more than 50 persons who have now joined us online. So welcome to all the persons online, and welcome to all the persons who are also here in person. Now, one of the things that I said earlier on that persons may not have heard, I believe it's a very proud moment in PGA's history, as today marks the soft launch of our school's YouTube channel. So the stream that you're streaming online currently is actually PGA's school YouTube channel. What this means is that this meeting is being recorded, and for those persons who may have came in late, or for those persons who may have been at work or otherwise occupied, for the first time, you know, if I call nobody and say, what them talk about a PTA today? You can actually go onto the channel and listen for yourselves. So we have a few persons here, so I want to give yourselves a clap, because really and truly it could not have been done without you parents, and this is why we have to now support as much as we can when we're having fundraising events, right? So kudos and big up to the parents. I never hear it online, but some persons actually clap, so that's cool. All right. To get back to the agenda, so that was the first thing on the agenda, which was the soft launch of the school's YouTube channel. Now, over the next coming weeks, We will reach out to parents to find out if persons have challenges with school activities actually being posted on the channel. Obviously, because our children are going to be on the channel. So, for example, on Tuesday we had career day, and I don't know if everyone has seen the videos yet circulating in the groups, but boy, the kids really looked good. I noticed that we had some persons in the army. They were actually marching around the school, the fire people, the nurses and the doctors, with a couple of scientists. I'm always so proud of our parents in terms of how they actually get behind the students whenever there's like an activity. Anything but a bad day was an overwhelming success. I saw I saw this one kid who had like a stove, and they had like the pot on the stove. I'm like, what parent did this? When did they get time to do this? And we actually didn't want to release the anything but a bad day, the notice too early. But boy, may I tell you, someone really, really, really talented. I saw this one kid that had on a bird cage as a backpack. And for anybody who is like my age, you know, we used to have a saying, you know, bird cage, literally had on a bird cage. So I thought that was super interesting. All right, so as Ms. Krillan had indicated, Sports Day is February 20th and the 21st, right, Mrs. C? 20th and 21st. Right, so it's the same thing that's on the calendar of event. It's the 20th and the 21st. So on the 20th, those activities are held on the school grounds, and on the 21st, we go to the normal field. So I guess for the new parents, I guess somebody will tell you exactly where the field is. It's not far from here. The students normally walk to the field, and it's a big thing. So for anybody who has ever been to Sports Day, you know that it is super competitive. Our parents are super competitive. So come out in your colors. But one of the things that we wanted to do different for this year was that we wanted to have volunteers, parent volunteers, to kind of help out the teachers with the organization and stuff. So if you are interested in volunteering, I'm going to post the Gmail for the PTA group, and you just shoot us an email indicating that I want to volunteer to assist on for Sports Day. And of course, that would be more for the 21st when we're on the big field as opposed to when we're here. But again, if Mrs. C needs help, then of course we can deploy parents here if you need it on the day for the 20th, the underground school day, right? So remember, if you want to volunteer, we're going to send out the email for the PTA. Just email us indicating that you want to volunteer, all right? Please. And I will be there. I'm normal there. God's willing and life spare. I'm there running up and down if necessary, and running if necessary as well, to ensure that Yellow House wins. All right? Somebody in the audience said Red House will win. Yeah, y'all got it last year, but revenge this year. The term fundraising event from your PTA that will be coming out. You'll see the flyers coming out soon. It's really a sweet treats fundraising event. So it's like a big sale with cakes and cookies and stuff like that. But we're also trying to get some nutrition stuff in there as well. So look out for that as well on the order forms. And we're going to try and utilize some amount of technology here as well. So you may see, for example, a Google Forms link in the group, and you'd be able to order through Google Forms as well. All right. As I said, this meeting won't be a long one. The other agenda item is, yes, Bank Day. So, because we want to ensure that as many persons as possible benefit from the Bank Day. So the Bank Day, for those persons who may not know, Jamaica National will be coming in, and they'll be facilitating the opening of accounts for our young ones, right? So we had left some forms by the school office. Parents were encouraged to pick them up, fill them out, and then take them back to the school, right? And then on a specific day, the persons from the bank would come in and they would facilitate the finalization and opening of the accounts. Because you know, said big things are going to happen sports day, the JN reps will also be there for sports day as well, because I think it's going to be one of those days when most parents will take the time out to say, okay, let me take a 1 day from work and come and support my child. So if you have not yet picked up your form, or if you're gonna, or you can do it on the day, but I would suggest that you pick up the form ahead of time, fill it out, take it back, because it has to be witnessed and stuff. So I'm a justice of the peace for those persons who don't know. So I'll sign for you, and Mrs. Cridland can also sign for you. So don't miss out on the opportunity to have your child start their first bank account if they don't have one so far. All right, please. So that is pretty much all the items we have on the agenda. For now, we're going to kind of open it up, find out if parents have any concerns, anything that you want to discuss, bring to the fore. Now is the time. Oh, I see a parent online saying she didn't see any pictures with police officers posted. What police officers, Mrs. C? Or we just had soldiers and firemen? There are police officers. Well, if there are videos and stuff, I guess the YouTube channel is there now. So I guess you'll see those things on the YouTube channel, so long as parents don't object. And of course, if it is that you see a child and you object, we can pull those videos from the channel, all right? Right, so that's what we're saying. You okay, all right. So we had said it before. So we wanted to get the general release from parents to facilitate the posting of the videos with your children online. So if you have a challenge with your children being online, you just let us know, all right? And we'll pull those videos. All right, so we have a question.
Although the fee. I have seen a message in the chat that's saying that the fees on something formal. I don't know if a letter that was written on January 10 is formal enough, but it says that students are to be picked up on time. Students are to be picked up 15 minutes after dismissal. If you are having difficulty, speak with the class teacher. Handbook, page 10. Aftercare service is not available at this time. However, a late pickup fee will be instituted as of Monday, January 16, 2023. The fee will be charged half an hour after dismissal of regular or extra lesson class. The fee of $500 per afternoon must be paid when picking up. Otherwise, the money will be added automatically to your account. Persons are willing to supervise students, not pick up on time, but want compensation for doing so. I don't know if this is formal enough. Parents who are here, do I need to do something more formal than this? Because somebody saying nothing formal was sent. But this letter was dated, it's dated January 10th, and it was sent. There's another thing in the chat. In the same letter, it's stated that extracurricular activities will begin the week of January 16 to 20, 2023. Term paid programs. Payment must be paid in full for students to participate. Now, if you send your child and you didn't pay anything, you don't speak to anyone, how do we know that you are going to pay? You can't just send your child to a paid program without saying anything to anybody. The persons who come in to do the teaching, we have to pay them. And they charge us per student. So if we are going to put your child in, you must say something to somebody. You can't just tell the child just and go on. Can't work like that. So there's a parent there that is upset, but don't blame us because that person should have called. Even if you can't come in, you should have called to say something or even say to the teacher. Oh, sorry. All right. Yeah.
All right, so the online questions concerned whether there was a formal aftercare program at the school currently. So Mrs. C addressed that. The answer is no. However, if your children are not picked up within half an hour of the school being dismissed, then there is a charge of $500, which apparently needs to be paid on the day or it will be added to your account. Mrs. C, question though, it would be remiss of me as PTA president representing the people if I didn't ask, is this half an hour hard and fast, meaning school finished 2:30, so exactly at 3:01 we charge, or there's a little? Okay, all right. So there's a little wiggle room. Right, call. Sure. Right. So I think one of the things parents that Mrs. Cridland as well as the administration is indicating is that communication is paramount. If it is that you are going to be running late, it's a little bit unfair to the teachers for them to be staying beyond the time as well. So if it is that you're going to be running late, then please take the opportunity to reach out to the school via the regular numbers or reach out to the teacher. So everybody would be in a group. So even though you can't message in the group, I suspect the teacher is the admin, correct? So whoever you see as the admin in the group, that is your teacher. Reach out to your teacher. All right, so we have a question in-house. Sure. Right. So with regards to after school activities, I think Mrs. Cridland had indicated as well that the same 30. Right. So if your child is doing an activity and it ends at, say, for example, 3:30, certainly by 4 o'clock you should be here. And even though the teachers are willing to give a grace period, and I think that is why at times we're a little bit iffy to give grace periods because, persons normally add the grace period to the time, and that's not what they want. They really want you to try and pick up your children as much as possible within that 30-minute period, right? All right, so that would have taken care of the aftercare. So no formal aftercare program. Students need to be picked up within 30 minutes. If they are not picked up within 30 minutes, there's a little grace period. However, if they are not picked up on time, then there is a surcharge of $500. And I suspect that is every time that there's an infraction, right? All right, so we have another question. Yeah, man.
The charge you can consider it taking effect after that time with whatever leeway you can institute.
Okay. So we're having a little, and this is why sometimes you must ensure that you try and come physically, because we're having some discussions on site. Yeah, we're having some discussions on site now with regards to the implementation of the funds for persons who are students who are picked up late. The other question that I wanted to take, Mrs. Krillan had spoken about it as well, is with regards to students not paying for the paid activities. So just to note that if your child has not paid for the activity, but you intend to pay, again, you reach out to the school administration. You reach out to the school administration and you let them know that, okay, I haven't paid right now, but I intend to pay, all right? So that the child can participate. So we have another in-house question. Oh. Right. Right. All right. So the question on the floor at the physical meeting has to concern why is it that only admins, being the teachers, can message inside the groups. Now I know that Mrs. Cridland had addressed this at the last PTA meeting. Mrs. C, I don't know if you want to come back or you want me to just say what you said, as I remember. But just to say before Mrs. Cridland comes, so I have two girls that attend the school, and it affects us as well. So what we did for our grade 6 group, we just did another group for parents, and obviously we didn't put the teacher in it. So we communicate. So
you fix it.
yeah, but I think it's for every group though, every class. But Mrs. C will come and talk to you about it.
Yes, we have been having some problem with some parents that don't know when to stop, and some of them put things in the group to seek audience. So to eliminate all of that problem, the groups were closed. So if you need to communicate, you communicate through the teacher. You could send whatever you have to post to the teacher, and the teacher can post and answer. And as Sir says, form parents group so that you can share among your parents. For example, I'm in every group, all the groups I'm in. And if everybody, all the groups open, the school will probably have to buy me a phone to accommodate all those messages that comes in.
Okay, all right. So 3 more questions online. All right, so Mrs. C, this is going to be a question for you as well. So apparently swimming is kept on a Friday, seen as how obviously this Friday and the first Friday of the month is utilized for administrative activities. Parents are asking how it's accounted for in the cost. Oh, all right. So Principal Cridlan is saying that it is accounted for in the cost. So if I'm hearing you right, they are not billed for those days, for those Fridays. All right. So parents who do swimming for the days that there is administrative administrative work on the first Friday, you are not charged for those days for swimming. The other question, Mrs. Cridlan, had to do with the karate gis. When will those be ready? The karate gis. The karate clothes, when will those be ready? That's a question. And another concern by a parent is having to do with the drop off in the mornings. So we know that Mr. Taylor and Mr. Smith is there in the mornings. I suspect trying their best, but there is still some challenges with regards to drop-offs in the morning. And I think pickups as well in the afternoon. Parents, I don't know if Mrs. Cridden will come and address it, but I'm gonna be honest. I have to drop off in the morning and I have to pick up in the afternoon sometimes. Sometimes I feel it's a lack of cooperation amongst us as parents. So when we're coming in, you come in, and of course, we know that we're going to go straight. We're going to make the right to come in and drop off. But honestly, if you're coming in and you realize that you're going to block the entrance, come in, make the turn, and join the line from the other side so as to not block the road, because that creates a lot of traffic in the morning. Not only for persons who are coming in to drop off their children, but for generally persons who are on their way to work. So we cause a little traffic jam, and I kind of feel like that can be alleviated if we just cooperate a little bit more with each other. I'm not sure what else Mr. Taylor, Mr. Smith can do apart from call you in to say, come, turn and join the line from the other end. And I've witnessed even when they're doing that, some parents don't want to come in and turn. In the morning as well, whenever you're exiting and someone is coming in, I know that we want to go. We all need to get to work and get to where we need to go. But some kind of logic here. If the person is already turned to come in and they can just back up and allow them to come in and then you go out, I suspect it will take way less time than both persons looking at each other and honking. Something have to kind of give. And if the person is coming off the main to come in, it's a little bit more difficult for them to reverse as opposed to you is already in the school to reverse, right? So try and be a little nicer to each other, a little more loving towards each other. All right, so we have another question inside the building.
school. So basically, it's a small meeting. It's really, you know, if you go there, anybody feel people. See someone out there, I don't know if you want to put somebody there. Look direct, I think, I know I'm talking about in terms of only things that like foot truck, if you are in somebody here. Is there no other arrows that you come from the students that appear to want to
There's a gate here.
There's a gate here to come up here.
There's a gate here. To see which truck is
So, you have, this is a good
All right, so persons online, I want to keep you into the conversation that we're having here. So we're discussing the pedestrian element when you try to pick up your kids and you're going through the smaller white gates to pick up, and the fact that the space that is left for parents and teachers, for parents and students to walk out, it's almost like an accident waiting to happen. Hopefully it does not. So we're trying to figure out a way to alleviate. We're trying to figure out a way to alleviate the pedestrian issue as we drop off and pick up in the evenings. In the morning, there's also a pedestrian gate that leads from the road. We're seeking to have that pedestrian gate open so the students don't have to come through the main gate where the cars come through as well. Right. I see that comment. Yeah, I see where Mr. Taylor and Mr. Smith is there, but I don't think they'll be able to regulate everyone, and some persons really don't want to be regulated. So, but I get the point. So we're going to try and open that pedestrian gate, and we're trying to find out another way where it is safer for persons to come in and also exit. So we're having some discussions. So we're just trying to work out a solution in the meeting. Okay, yeah. So the suggestion is for persons who the suggestion is to please have the parents who are speaking do so close to the device being used. All right. Is that all right? So again, let me tell you the discussion since you can't hear because a number of persons are talking now. We're trying to find a safe way for parents and students to exit, especially in the evenings, with the students so they don't have to walk the same place that the cars are coming in. A suggestion that has been thrown out is to have them walk through the church because there's a door that's on the school compound and another door that leads to the car park. So they're seeking to see if we can reach out to the church and be able to come through the church to get back to the car park without having to go the same direction as the cars. So parents is saying they've had the same experience with that particular parent. Or she stops and yes. So okay. So I think we just need to be a little bit kind to each other, especially in the mornings and in the evenings. All right, so I'm just looking through the comments to see if I've missed any questions. No, I just it's paying tomorrow. Okay. All right. So with regards to the paid activities, once you're going to be paying late or your payment is delayed, what they're saying is reach out to the school, reach out to the teacher, let them know, and then I suspect some amount of facilitation can take place. Is it legal for us to implement a sign on the compound that says 5K whilst driving onto the compound? All right. I will raise it with Mrs. Cridland. But to be honest, I think parents should be responsible enough to know that they're not supposed to drive above 5 or 10 Ks coming onto the compound. But a sign wouldn't hurt, so I will ask. All right. Okay, so we're seeing as well that some parents take a long time at drop off. So one of the things you can consider parents is having the bag in the car with the child once they're going to come through to drop off. And so when you're dropping off, they just step out with their bags. I know for the little ones that they may have to come open the seatbelt and take them out. But again, I think it's a consideration thing for parents to be considerate of each other. All right, Sean, thank you for the big up. Sean is saying that we're doing an excellent job. We're trying, Sean. We're really trying. Mrs. C, was there another concern from any parents? Any other concerns in the church? No? Yeah, I was asking if there was another issue raised while we were. Oh, if they can just go through. Yeah, man, I got that one. All right. I'll take. All right. So apparently I'll take it to. Okay, fine, no problem. I'll take it to the board. Yeah, man. I have no challenges taking the concert. But Mrs. C, no, I have no challenge taking matters to the board, especially anytime they talk about fees and money, because it's kind of difficult in these times. So I tell you that we commit as your PTA executive to always fight for you, always. So that is pretty much it. I don't see any more questions online. We do have any more questions here? Okay. Oh, all right. So 2 comments, Mrs. C. Somebody was suggesting that we put up a sign that indicates how fast you should drive whilst on the compound. I'm not sure how much of a good that would. Exactly. I'm not sure how much good it would do, but some persons are visual, so I'm not going to throw out the idea. Anyways, so I think it's a suggestion, so it's a suggestion to be considered. All right, the sports day on the 20th is kindergarten. Is the sports day on the 20th kindergarten only? No. Maths race. Right. All right. So no. Right. On the 20th, it's like right. So on the 21st, those are the track and field events, like your 100 and your 200 and your 4x100 and your field events, right? So your Olympics. So Friday is like Sorry, not the Friday. The Tuesday is like the Olympic day when they're in the stadium. And then the Monday now is like your mats race and your lemon spoon and maybe a potato sack race. Those kind of activities are the ones that are going to be held on day one. So for this year, it's 2 days. It's a day one and a day two activity. So if you can come for both days, you come out. If you can't come out for both days, then you try and at least come out on the second day because we're going to have bank day on that day as well. So please make the effort to come out. I missed any questions? 8:15? Oh, Mrs. C, the question is being asked if the main gate can be open until 8:15. No, school starts at 8. So the thing is that school starts at 8. So if you try to come in at 8:15, I suspect you may disrupt activity. So for example, a class may have early morning physical education session, they're going to need the space. So what happens is that if you right, and you have outside, you also have outside devotion. So the suggestion is you still come, you still park in the regular area, walk your child if you want to come around, and then you exit. Mr. Taylor will be there, Mr. Smith will be there to help you to get back onto the road, but we just have to cooperate. So the close off time for the gate is 8 o'clock. Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna, okay, all right. So we're gonna get 2 masks. Okay, so mask wearing, Mrs. C is coming to address us on that one.
Okay. I noticed somebody is asking about the mask wearing. We have asked the parents, I don't remember if I put it in any correspondence, but the children were told that they are to continue wearing the mask. They were told. So I'm saying it now. COVID is live and well. We are not selling any masks, so children are to come wearing their masks. All right, so just for you to understand that COVID is live and well, and the mask wearing is no longer, well, I can't say it's no longer optional, because even when it was forced, I had problems with parents not allowing their children to wear masks because they don't believe in it and whatever. So it's up to parents, but we are still asking for the masks to be worn. Yes?
Um, so mask wearing is not mandatory at this point in time, but it is preferred because COVID is still keeping. COVID is still keeping, so mask wearing is still preferred. Can be into because everything managed thus on the field. Yeah, so sports day is 2 days, the 20th and the 21st. There was another question, regarding posting in the groups. Again, a suggestion would be for the parents to just form a group of their own. Apparently, it was an administrative decision that was taken to have admin only post in the official school groups. So what we did is, I have a child in grade 6, and what we did for grade 6 as parents was to just start our own group, and we didn't add the teacher. And of course, it is good for like sharing homework and stuff if your child may not have got the homework. So you can consider reaching out. And remember as well, even though only admins can post in the groups, you can still, I think you should be able to still direct message another person in that group, even though only the admins can post. So consider that as well. I would like to remove myself from the group that I am unable to comment in. It is really okay. All right. So I get it. I get it. But put it this way, the group is used by the school to send out information. So, for example, this PTA meeting as well as the meeting link would have been posted in the group. So, if you come out of the group, you're going to miss those important meetings and meeting dates. So, I would suggest that you don't come out of the group, but you just know that it's a group that you're just going to get information in. If you want another group for those parents or some parents, then I suggest that you guys just start a group for yourselves and just don't add the teacher. Please advise how I can get in a group for parents only. For okay, so what you will do is just DM another parent and say, hey, look, you create the group or somebody takes the initiative to create the group, and then you DM the parents indicating that this is the group, because you can do a link, right? You can send out a link for persons to just join the group. So just forward that link to everyone in the group. The classroom. All right, so fair enough. But what it means, because PTA is funded from PTA dues as well as activities, right? So whenever parents participate in the activities and pay dues, that's what we use to do some of the initiatives. So if one of the things that you want to see in your classroom is more hand sanitizers, for sure and for certain we can do that. Yeah? So a question here was that first a parent wanted to see more hand sanitizer machines. The ones that you can press. Right. Okay. All right. So we're going to look into that. So I was saying that in order to get these things in the classrooms that you want to see as parents, it's through dues and fundraising events. So just to let you know, the fundraising event, it's an Easter fundraising event. It's going to be a sweet treats event. We're going to put out the list for persons to order their cakes as well as their cookies. And we're also going to have some healthy choices this time around on the offering as well. And we will try to do it digital. So we'll do a Google form to take your orders. All right. So when those go out, parents, please, please, please support. Anyways, it's coming up to 7 o'clock. I did promise that this would not be a long meeting. And I know that the parents are tired. They have a question. Sure. Oh, that is Mrs. C. Crocs and Crazy Tie. You didn't want to. It, it's, so the school has events and the PTA has events. So this one is no, it's not a. When it's PTA, it will always be a fun fundraising event. Crocs and so Mrs. C is coming to address Crocs and Crazy Tie along with Mr. Taylor to assist her. All right, Mrs. C.
It's a sports committee event because all that we have been doing for sports since September have been taken from the school's account. So all we have been spending for, we did football, we entered track and field. All of this money we spend is from the school's coffers. So the sports committee was asked to help to raise some funds to offset sports day. So that is what the Crocs and Tie is all about. to offset, because you have to get medals and whatever. So I know it won't cover the entire cost, but at least it will offset some of the costs.
Okay. So I'm just taking this last one. We had spoken about it before, but I will address it again. So the question is being asked again about the teachers conference on the Friday. So what was explained was that it is either 3 afternoons in the month. It's either 3 afternoons in the month that you would, sorry. Oh wait, for the name? Oh no, there's a form. Sorry. Maybe somewhere down there. Anyone who has the form for the sign up names, if you can just send it forward, maybe. All right, so it's either 3 afternoons. It's either 3 afternoons for the month that you'd have to pick up your child early or your children early versus 1 day. So it's either you're going to pick up your children early 3 days for the month, or we sacrifice 1 day. Mrs. Krillin has indicated that for next term or next year. Oh, so they only have 2 more for the rest of the school year. So for next school year, you'll revisit. All right. So for next. Oh. All right. So the question was raised online again. I think the person may have joined a little late. They were inquiring about the 1 day, the Friday, that they have to miss school to facilitate the administrative planning. And Mrs. Krillin had indicated that it's either 3 days you'd have to pick up your children early for that month, or you sacrifice the 1 day. So what she had indicated was that for next year, she will revisit based on the concerns the parents are raising. But for this school term, certainly it's going to be every first Friday, or 3 afternoons that you'd have to get here early. So we kind of have to balance it. 1 day versus 3 days, all right? So many parents here are saying 1 day is better than 3 days. All right, so someone said it is so difficult to monitor the work being done when my child has to resort to leaving books at school because the bag is too heavy. All right, so I don't know how we're going to jump this hurdle, Mrs. C. A parent is saying it's difficult to monitor the work for their child because the books are so heavy that the children have to leave some books here. That's what so they don't become camels, because the books are really heavy. There's a lot of books. So we have a teacher here saying, well, it's 2 choices again, because life is filled with choices. So the choice is you'd have to repack the bag every single morning to ensure that your child takes that book to school, or they leave some books at school to facilitate the work. But let us know in the comments, put it in the comments when we have board meeting, the PTA executive meeting, Mrs. Kirtland is there, the teachers are represented as well. We'll bring up your concerns in those meetings. So always send in your comments. We're going to share the email. If you didn't get to share a comment today, you send it to us via email. Again, this meeting is being recorded. It will be available on the school's YouTube channel. And for anybody who missed or came in a little bit late and you want to know what happened, you just go back on YouTube and you pull up the entire video and you can watch it at your own convenience. And if you think of anything, our email address will be there as the PTA executive. You just send us your concerns or your questions and we'll get back to you. So thank you so much for coming out today. Mrs. C, if there is no other thing on your side, I'm going to move to adjourn the meeting. So the email address for the PTA is in the chat. You can send us any concerns or questions. I see Mrs. C busy reading. Mrs. C, Skridlin, do you have anything else to say? We're gonna adjourn. Are we good? Okay. All right, so if there is nothing else, thank you all for coming out online and in person. I think between online and in person, we are almost at 100 persons today. That's very, very good. For those persons who didn't come or you came in a little bit late, the information will be online. Tell your other parents so that they can go on and see the meetings and see the upcoming events and activities. So with that said, at 6:56 p.m., I officially move to adjourn our first PTA meeting for this term. There is only one more for the term, so look out for that one. So thank you for coming out. Safe travels home, and thank you for the persons online. We're officially adjourned. Thank you. Oh, so one, even though we're adjourned, let me answer this question. Someone was asking if they can't come on the 21st to open their account, if there'll be another day. Of course, but what it may mean is that you may have to physically go into JN. But what we will do, we will put it onto the rep to see if there is some special treatment that can be accorded. Of course, maybe you call my name and say, President Carr from PGA PTA sent you, and I just move it from the back to the front of the line. I just kidding. I don't even know if that's possible, but by the grace of God. So we're officially adjourned now. So we're gonna log out and stop the stream. All right, so thank you.